Visit sportsbookreview.com to learn more about BetOnline and its A-plus rated platform on the link below. It's Wednesday, February 7th, and this is Sportsbit Betting Insight today from SBRpicks.com. My apologies, no shows the last couple of days. Why? Well, I thought I was hungover after the Super Bowl, but in fact, I think I had a touch of the flu. Feeling better on Wednesday, so that means let's get right into it. I've got a Super Bowl recap coming up next. A betting recap, of course, but let's start with what happened last night. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Oh, this one was ugly. If you had the Lobos, New Mexico plus 1.5 versus Boise. Well, New Mexico's up 13 with 8.5 minutes left. They're up 6 with the ball and a minute left. Got closed out 8-0. Turnovers in their last 3 possessions. Lose by a bucket. 73-71 final. Lobos plus 1.5 crashes and burns. That is a bad beat. Bad beat push. TCU plus 7 against Kansas. This is one of those that just kicks you in the gut. Horned Frogs in the game the whole way. They never trailed by more than 6. They're plus 7 until they fouled with 8 seconds left, down 5. Devontae Graham made both free throws. TCU loses by 7. They were plus 7. They were a right side the whole way. That's a tough beat push for the Horned Frogs. We got to talk bad bets. And I'm not even going to talk about Cleveland as a side. Let's talk about the total, okay? Cavs match, because we got a whole lot to say about the Cavs when we get the big game breakdown later in the show. But the total last night, bet from 221 to 227. The Magic did their part. They scored 116. Cavs quit early last night. And yeah, the right word for that game is quit. Again, we'll talk about more later in the show. Look at the defense. Not much there. And yet, over. Never had a chance because Cleveland didn't score any points. What do you want to call this one? I'm going to call it a bad bet or bad break or a bad torn ACL. Well, Knicks plus 1.5, bet up to minus 1.5 against the Bucks. They lost the game by 14, but remember, they had the lead when Porzingis went down for the season. Knicks' chances of making the playoffs just went down without him. Look at the numbers. Last night, Porzingis in, Knicks are plus 5. With them out, they were minus 19. If you made a bet on the Knicks, expecting Porzingis to step up, well, look at the picture. Ow, that hurts. That's bad luck. I don't know if we call it a bad beat, bad bet when you bet on a team and their star player gets hurt and they're winning when he gets hurt and then they get crushed the rest of the way. You got to chalk that one up to bad luck. Middle last night. We had a middle in our NBA total. Oklahoma City, Golden State. The game wasn't much of a factor. The Warriors pretty much dominated wire to wire at home, but the total opened 229, closed 231. You know where it landed? Right on 230. And here's the beauty of it. It got bet up and back down and bet up and back down all day long, bouncing between 230, 231, 230.5. Wasn't a great result for the books. How about this? Russell Westbrook and Paul George scored 72. The entire Warriors starting 5 scored 73. Ugly showing from a Golden State team that warned us. They were a little bit tired going into last night's game. They certainly played like it. Many teams just limping along into the All-Star break right now in the NBA. All right, well, I couldn't do it Monday. I couldn't do it Tuesday. Sorry, I was barfing. It's Wednesday. That doesn't mean it's too late. Let's do one final Super Bowl recap. And I know you've seen a bunch out there already. Let's close it out. Underdogs finished 6-5 straight up in the NFL playoffs. 10-1 against the spread, against the closing line. You can swing the Saints-Vikings either way. If you wanted Minnesota in that game, you probably could have won your ticket there. But bottom line, huge postseason for dog bettors. And again, in the Super Bowl, dog bettors did very well. The total for the Super Bowl, that got bet up heavy. 47 up to 48, up to 49. A lot of the stores in Nevada, Westgate and the coast, closed as high as 49.5. Offshore, Heritage and a few others closed 49.5. Nothing but over money in that contest. And obviously that, not a great result for the books. You know, when we talk about the game itself, there was one punt. There was one punt. That's all you need to know. So obviously in a game like that, there are going to be issues. Of course, the Malcolm Butler is the biggest question. You know, why did Belichick, and we'll never know what happened with Butler sitting out for that contest. But the bottom line is neither team able to stop the other. Who executed better? Philadelphia. Who got the calls in the end zone on the disputed touchdowns? Philadelphia. There's a bunch of them I'm going to talk about. This is from our good friends, Vegas Point Blank. You can read that column every day right here on sportsbookreview.com. 673 total yards in the first half for Eagles Patriots. 27 of the first 51 Super Bowls didn't reach 673 for the full game. You had an over, you never sweated on Super Bowl Sunday. One of the many reasons why the books didn't enjoy this game as much as they thought they might. This is one that just stunned me. You know, I understood it was an offensive game, but here's from football perspective. With 1,151 total yards, Super Bowl 52 has set the records for most yards in any, it's regular, postseason, whatever, game in NFL history. I understand it was an offensive game. That was the highest scoring game in NFL history, I guess, or the most offensive yards in NFL history. Sure. Obviously, and again, we'll get to this with Dave Mason on Deep Dive tomorrow, but certainly we're talking about a game where a lot of props cashed for the bettors. In fact, let's talk about it. Dave Tooley, that view from Vegas, from Jay Cornegay at the LV Superbook. Quote, when the smoke clears, I'm hoping for a small win. It was a small winner on the game, but we got destroyed on props. David Payne Purdom does excellent reporting for ESPN. Las Vegas sportsbook operator CG Technology reports suffering a mid-six-figure loss on the Super Bowl. Loss. Here's one from Covers per William Hill US. Multi-million-dollar loss. 3 bets alone, all 7 figures, cash for a total of $4,634,782. Patrick Everson, great beat writer for Covers. Per Nevada Gaming Control Board's Mike Lawton on record Super Bowl betting handle. Quote, unaudited figures show a sportsbook win of $1.17 million, recorded on wagers totaling $158,586,934. This resulted in a whole percentage of 0.7%. Let me make this very clear. All right. The books that the money that the books actually lost money on the Super Bowl, and that was because all the props came in, one over after the next, after the next, after the next. Didn't matter who you bet over or what. When you have the highest yardage handle in NFL history in a Super Bowl, there's going to be a lot of over props paid out, and that's what happened. So the books basically lost on the side with Philadelphia, where the sharp money was coming in. The money line came in on the Eagles. They didn't do well there. They got crushed by the public on the props. Where'd they make money? They made money the way they usually make money. They made money on the hold percentage from the future wagers. They made money on the parlay cards. But the bottom line, you know, we've seen hold percentages 10 times higher than this in Super Bowls. We've seen huge wins in Super Bowl. Record handle by nearly $20 million. And you know what? The bettors did well. The books barely covered their costs. It was not a Super Bowl to remember for the sports books here in Nevada or offshore. Coming up next, big game breakdown. Not 1, not 2, 3 showdown in hoops action for Wednesday night. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.